to week 2 of Eat for Freedom. So excited to see all your guys' posts and all the cool things. I know you guys are getting really brave. I wanted to just, again, congratulate everybody on that. Did anybody just really feel excited to finally get that up? Yeah, awesome. Okay, good. And then and then also, so let's see, Sarah Madler, Joan Riley, and Tara Mulder, they all started their list. Like that was part of it, to have your list of 20 names, right? And then reach out to 10. So congratulations to you ladies who did both of those things. So your names are going into the drawing for the prize this week. And then everyone else, of course, was on the call live because we're rewarding people for being here live. Your names are going to go in there too. But those 3, y'all get to double up. That's so nice. Also, a big congratulations to our first consultant of the group, Tina. I don't actually know how to pronounce her last name. Soup Sucks? Tina, are you on here?
Yeah, she's
here. Kalai, how do you say Tina's last name?
It's Supus.
Oh, there's Tina. There you are. Say it for me again.
Supus.
Supus. Yay, Tina! So,
good job. That is so exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. We had our welcome call today with Amanda, her new person, and it was really fun talking to you guys. Awesome. Okay, so now Tina is able to earn residual income. Tina, actually, you and I want to talk to you a little bit about those legs and how that looks. So we'll schedule another call for that. But does anybody else have any victories? Or Tina, is there anything you'd like to share about doing this with the rest of the group?
Well, I've been using Isagenix for 3 years, so I'm kind of an introvert. I really wasn't putting myself out there to share, so I've started close to home with, somebody I work with. So that's obviously easier than just reaching out to people, that you don't know. So baby steps for me. Obviously, it's going to take a little time to come out of my shell, but that does feel good. And Allie, I really appreciate talking to you today. You're really motivational, so that gets me excited to get somebody else started.
Thank you so much. It was really fun too. I just have to give Tina just some hands, because as I was going through there, it's like, oh yeah, she told me that. Oh yeah. So like, even though this was Tina's first welcome call ever, she had covered so much with her. And so I know Amanda was feeling really confident and is just going to have a lot of success.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. So that just that's a good reminder for everybody just how helpful it is to take advantage of the 3-way chats, 3-way messenger, and then of course welcome calls once they get enrolled. And several of you have, at least for me, and I'm sure you've done with Lori too, I am in different 3-way chats with the leaders and other people on the team. And so that is super important. This is your opportunity to learn, because if you're brand new to this, or even if you've just kind of been ebbing and flowing with your business, you learn more quickly when you're in constant action, right? And sometimes we struggle with the words. So this gives you the opportunity to see how we handle answering certain questions. Because I remember when I was brand new, when somebody asked me a question, I just gave kind of an overload of information. And so it's almost like an art to learn how to give just enough, or an art to ask how to just ask the right questions to that person. This gives you the opportunity to learn how to really do that, so that you're just meeting people where they are without overloading them with information, if that makes sense. How to find out the proper tool to give them. So this is a great shadowing opportunity for you, and lets them see how much support is available to them when they get started. All right.
Yeah, it's funny you just said that, because Tyler Walter was just on, because I asked him if he would talk to John, because they're kind of, similar guys and stuff. John was saying, I'm cool with it being all women, but I just thought it'd be interesting to hear from a guy that's doing this. And so it was really great, but he just said exactly what Allie said. Go fast. It is so much easier to go fast, because you don't get so rusty and things come smoother and the momentum comes and all of those things. And I know we think slow is easier, but it's actually not, So, okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is consistency. So most all of you did get your post up, especially all the ones, a lot of them that I'm seeing here. So good job, you guys. I'm really proud of you. They were great. They were really great posts. So that is fantastic. I feel like sometimes, actually, I'm positive that the biggest struggle with most people is consistency, which is the key to everything, and B, being consistent in both areas that matter. Staying on social media consistently, and we're going to talk about what that looks like, not talking about Isagenix all day, but, you know, branding, and connecting with people consistently. I work with people that either do one or the other. Almost always, that's usually the problem. They're either consistent on social media but don't message and connect with people, or they message and connect with people but they don't post. Those two combined, that we even just heard from Tyler Walter, is where the magic happens. The connections are super important. That we can't just post and pray and hope people are going to come to us, but it does brand ourselves and helps people see what we're all about, so they have more trust in us when we ask and have an opportunity for them. Does that make sense to people? And what you will find is that this business is all about trust, way more than it's about the products, okay? So people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Would you guys agree with the things that you do? You work with people you know, like, and trust. And if you had, let's just say, why can't I ever think of things? Clothing, even activewear. Would you prefer, and you had a friend that you knew, like, or trust that had an activewear clothing store, would you prefer to buy it from her or order off Amazon? You want to help people out that you like, right? So be that person that people are attracted to, and we're going to teach you how to do that. So here's what I want to tell you about consistency, because I can't stress it enough. And people always think it's kind of a blah answer to success, but it's the whole thing, you guys. It is the whole thing, because most people struggle to master the mundane. All they see is the sexy results from the people who are promoting and are ultimately successful, but they really underestimate the grit of the mundane things that we do every single day. Does that make sense? It's just required. No one is an overnight success. No one. Everyone just thinks that because they only see what they see, okay? So consistency is what will allow people to take you seriously. And if you're new to this and they're not quite sure, that's why you even more have to be consistent. They'll start coming around because they can't deny what you're putting out, okay? So it also allows you some measurement, so you can see if things are working. So let's just say you're struggling, it's been 3 months, and you come back and say, Lori, I'm really struggling. And so we can revisit, what are we doing on social media? What are we doing for connections? How many people are you asking to take a look? And if you're consistent in all those areas every single day, I really doubt you're going to say that to me, but if you do, then we can reevaluate those things and see if we need to change wording or something like that. It also creates momentum. It establishes your reputation. It makes you relevant. It's hard to be relevant when you're not consistent, because you're not current and you don't know what's going on. It also maintains your message. So when I'm consistent, or Allison's consistent, it is when people have been friends with for a while, she maintains the message that she's empowering, that she is on a health and wellness journey, that she's here to help people, that she works her own business. All people know these things about her. They don't know it from one post. They don't know it from a post a month. They know it from the consistency that they see all the time. Okay. And so when they're ready, they're going to think of the person that's consistent. That's who they will think of. So bare minimum would be posting on social media daily, and we'll talk about what that can look like, and connecting with 3 to 5 people every day. That's going to be your challenge for the next week that we do all the time. Okay. So I know that a lot of people have some blocks around what to post on social media. So we're going to talk about that, and we want that to be unique to you. Always remember, and this, I really think this helps people, and Shannon Schlapkel even said this, because she's done a really good job when she posts, and she goes, I just always think about, how can I help someone? How is this going to add value? Every time. I put it out there. Okay. So you're going social media. Here's your goal on your page: to build trust, and let people into your life. So they could say, Melissa Hayes, what do I know about her? You know, and they could pinpoint, oh, I know that she's a teacher. I know that she's on health and wellness journey. I know she's really close to her sisters, you know, whatever they can pinpoint. I know she has a new dog and puppy that they love all the time. Like, cause people are pretty much posting about their passions all the time. So you want to let people into your life, your passions, your daily struggles, ongoing victories. Think of a few things that symbolize who you are. So who can throw a few things into the chat if you can think of, I know this is hard for people and we won't make you like pinpoint this today, but if you can think of one or two things that identify a passion of yours, whether you absolutely love crochet or so for me, even before I came to Isagenix, I am a fitness person. I love it. Everyone knew that about me. I couldn't even hide it. I can't pretend I don't work out. If I could say I get results without working out, but that would be a lie because no one knows I would stop, right? You don't need to be that for Isagenix, but I can't deny that. That is a huge part of my life, okay? Also, being home and working from home and stay-at-home mom is totally the biggest reason that I do this. So I post about that and my kids a lot. My relationship with my spouse and his whole support on the journey is a huge part of my whole identity. And empowering and lifting people up, specifically, no offense, John, women, only because a lot of time women are the hardest on themselves, I think. So that is some of the things in a nutshell, with the exception of Daisy, that kind of sum me up. Okay. So who could, do we have some things going on in the chat? Okay, Jackie, your grandkids. And you know what? I already could have said that about you because you already are talking about them. Sarah, travel, faith, family, dog. That's great. Yeah, your travel. So phone, I encourage you to think about those things. Think about those things every time you post. And I remember Audrey McLeod, who's one of our really successful people, said she just really rotates. So when she puts a post up, she's like, when's, and one of them should be your nutrition, right? Obviously, Isagenix in some way. That's going to be one of your things, but not all of you. So she'll sit and think, what's the last time I talked about my marriage with James? Because they're kind of newlyweds and it's like, you know, that's her thing. When's the last time I talked about my faith? When's the last time I even talked about the products? So that you can kind of, do you understand what I mean? That you're varying what we put out there and it's intentional. You can be posting about your kids, your family, your workout and travel, and you, in a very slight way, can tie that into Isagenix. You really can. And as you start watching, you don't even have to say Isagenix, you don't have to say my business. If you really start following people, which we were also going to suggest on this call, aligning with people that you may already know in Isagenix, you will see that they do that without screaming it to people, okay? Okay, so here's the other thing I wanted to kind of explain that I know sometimes is hard and frustrating for people when they're trying to think of things to post. Lots of times if you guys are in HHP, a lot of times people see like these great posts about all these great things about the vitamins and it's this great list or so, you know, whatever it happens to be. It basically is a promotional post about products, right? And they're like, can I put this on my timeline? Can I share this? I'm like, you can put whatever you want on your timeline. I wouldn't put it on my timeline. Because why? Is my timeline about selling stuff all day long and an ad page? Is that what I want people to think of? Is I'm going to go to Lori's page so that I can go kind of look at some commercials? That's not what we want, right? HHP is there for your people. They may already be enrolled to learn more about the products and be supported. And even people you've already talked to that want to take a look and aren't ready yet. So John, the guy you talked to tonight, you should be adding him to HHP so he can get just having, you know, he's already said, yes, I'm interested. So now we're going to put him in the store. Does that make sense? So he can start looking around. So we don't want store ads on our timeline. Does this make sense to people? Your goal on your timeline is to generate curiosity. So people go, what are you doing? And then you can follow the process we talked about and later add them to HHP, okay? If they really want to dig in. That doesn't mean that sometimes, like, I'm not like the big new energy drink, I'm talking about it, okay? So it's not like never. But you get what I'm saying. Okay, so here's some ideas that I think would be really easy for people. All your posts, the ones that do talk about Isagenix, do not need to be power posts, like, and take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it took for some of you to create this first power post. You want to do something like that about once a week, okay? And until then, you can still drip things that are somewhat related. And so to generate curiosity, I'm just going to run through a list, which I'm also going to copy and paste into the Eat for Freedom group that might help you. And you guys can pop ideas. Some of you guys are more experienced of things that have worked for you to generate curiosity that are kind of simple. So again, you're always going to ask yourself, is this really building my brand or benefiting my audience in any way? If we ask ourselves that every time we post, that doesn't mean it can't be something funny. I'm like looking at Lori Webb right now. That's what she's kind of known for, is her quirky funniness. That's value for people because it makes them smile and laugh, okay? So it can be things. Be true to who you are. She hasn't changed who she is at all. So always add value, whether you're inspiring, educating, entertaining, recognizing, and things like that. When you know your audience, that's awesome too. So because you're not trying to relate to absolutely everyone, you know, the people that you're looking for. Be authentic. You guys, I can't tell you how much I suggest not copying and pasting other people's work. Go ahead, Allie.
I want to pop in here too. We'll finish. No, you finish what you were going to say, and then I'm gonna add on something to it. So go ahead.
I was just going to say the universe is smarter than that. You receive what you put out. Okay. That doesn't mean we don't use other people. Believe me, for inspiration, for ideas. I have saved people's posts because I think it's phenomenal and I love the topic and the way it was going. And then I use it to inspire me to write my own, you know, and I might use some of their words, but it's not a copy and paste. It's my story is going to be inserted. Does that make sense? And that is how you will grab people. That is how you'll grab people. Even quotes that I may put up once in a while, even if they're kind of good quotes, if it's not a story truly to me, it doesn't grab the people as much ever. So, and then my last thing was be vulnerable.
Oh, coming back on being authentic, where I was going to pop in there. Does everybody know how to save a post? Okay, you can save posts on Instagram and in Facebook. No, that's okay. Up in the top right-hand corner, there's like almost if you're looking at your screen right now and you've got the three dots, the ellipses. If you click on that, there's a place on each post where you can save. And then when you click save, it'll allow you to make a category. So I do have I have a category, a folder in both Facebook and in Instagram that says post inspiration. And then like Lori said, when I'm feeling kind of stuck, I do go back and I look at those, and like she said, I just use it as a skeleton. I read it and I'm like, how does this apply to me and my values and how I live my life? And then I rewrite it, and it might be very similar, but it's definitely my own words. The second thing is, let me scroll down here and make sure that this is a good place to put it, because you might be.
No, I'm just going to give some general ideas.
Okay. The other thing that really helps with that as well, being authentic, is what I'm putting into my mind every day. So at some point every day, I'm reading a book or I'm listening to a podcast. And that, when I'm working on my personal growth, always gives me something valuable that I can think to share, because if it resonated with me, it's in my head already, and I can just quick write something about that and put it out there, and I get so much great feedback on the value. And you guys don't compare yourself to me when I say that, because I've been doing this and writing for a long time. I've been writing since I was like 6, but that didn't even count. But what I'm just saying is, when you're pouring good value into you, you're going to give good value out. So, you know, make some time for your own personal growth, and that'll help a lot.
It's so true. I remember my first year, you know, and some of you can relate to this if you've gotten started and you get momentum, and then I went like 2 weeks and didn't enroll anyone. I'm like, I'm broken. What is wrong? And then I would listen to a podcast and I like, okay. And I look up, you know, Laura Stevens, getting started on, like, you can find everything. Isagenixpodcast.com, by the way. And there's a bunch more just from anyone. It doesn't have to be an Isagenix podcast, but that's where I would start for new people. And you guys, it's so true. And Don Pasenko has said this too. I always come up with a great post after I listen to a podcast, or reading a book works too. So great suggestion. Now I'm going to run through a list that we had in our Goal Diggers team page that I'll move over to Eat for Freedom. There's super simple ideas that can be super simple, just blips to generate some more curiosity sometimes about Isagenix. The other stuff, you know, is a little bit easier. And I'll never forget, I always remind this, some of the people I was following that did Isagenix before I did it were having simple statements. One was on a weight loss journey. I'll never forget. She just wrote size 4 with a whole bunch of exclamation points. And I was like, holy crap, she's freaking melting. I knew exactly what that's all she said though. That's it. Because I already knew we're all following, like, laser focused on this girl, right? Okay, so for people, and you can use this for your new people, you're excited you just ordered your products and you can't wait to get it. You don't have to even say a whole bunch more about that, you know? Bye-bye mom bod, bye-bye dad bod, bye whatever you want to say. That's it. Don't overthink it. Picture of your new box that has arrived. I would make it so at the beginning so it doesn't totally say Isagenix. And you can't wait to start. No labels or names showing. First week progress post, something positive. It doesn't have to be weight. It can be, or your skin, or your sleep, or your energy. Picture of you drinking or making your shake. Selfie with the kids or family just having fun. Progress post about how many inches you have lost. How easy and fast it is to make shakes on the go. Before and during progress picture to show your changes. Wellness Wednesday can even just be the food that you're eating that day, your healthy snack, that you've swapped out chips for Whey Thins, whatever it happens to be. Or it can be just an apple and string cheese and that you've actually craving food like this now. It doesn't have to always be about the products. Give recognition or shout out to a team member for being amazing with their progress. So maybe you have a team member that is doing great and you can just tag them and shout them out. And guess what? That does great things for you as a coach and great things for them, for their friends that see it on their progress. Picture of you just doing something you love. Maybe it's something you haven't done for a long time. You have more energy. You have a better mindset about doing it. Picture of you shopping for clothes and enjoying that process, modeling in the dressing room, energy update and how you feel, a motivating quote, a post at the gym, selfie post or a hike. Sometimes a great thing is a memory. So when you get the on this day, this is what happened, and you can look back and see, oh my God, when I look back to the things that I used to post a really, really long time ago, a lot of us realize how much we've changed, right? Maybe a completed goal since you started and another one you're aiming for next. Even a motivating article or video, something that will inspire others. Again, just add value to your audience. A picture of your travels and eating your Isagenix food on the road, and maybe it's your whole family. We did that when we went to Disney World, took a picture of the kids with their shakes in the hotel room before we left. Something you're grateful for. Gratitude, you guys, is absolutely huge. And maybe something that you look forward to every day. So I'm going to put that list because it kind of just gets your brainstorm going in the Eat for Freedom group that you really can simplify it. So does anyone have anything in the chat that has worked? Here, someone, Allie. Yeah, like you're more active with your family and your kids instead of you used to like just hang out. Sure is more fun than hanging out on the couch with no energy. Does anyone have anything else to add about just things they can throw out on Facebook that grabs people's attention or generates interest?
By the end of the week, I'm going to put up some images that have some different ideas of transformations, because so often we think about transformation only as this is what I looked like before, this is what I look like after, but there's so many other transformation ideas that you can build a short story out of. So just had a lot going on today, but I will get that.
Great too. I have a face Friday, and it's not that my face is skinnier. It just is healthier looking, right? So my face was, and I even have the whole post. I share it every once in a while because I was tired. I drank a lot of caffeine. I had artificial junk in my body. And here I am 10 years older and glowing. Like, it doesn't have to be about weight, you guys. I think a lot of people really get stuck on that. Think about, all of the different kinds of, whether it's your hair. I've seen Emily Vavra talk about her real nails and how well they grow because of the shakes and isogenesis. Okay. Allie, those are all fantastic ideas. The last thing I was going to say is we're going to have some of you listened to this podcast, but it's going to help you so much. There's a guy named Scott Aaron that I've worked with before, and he does network marketing training, mainly on LinkedIn, but he has this 10-4-1 system that will help you. And you're going to need, it's a very short podcast. It's like 13 or maybe 12 minutes long. You're going to need a paper and pencil, and he's going to give you ideas of 2 posts you can do every day. And it will help you if you're struggling a little bit to brand yourself. It's kind of a fancy word for just kind of who you are and getting your main things down. It'll help you because it'll be like you want 1 post, 2 posts a week of you and your spouse or significant other, 2 posts a week with you, with your kids or fur babies, 2 posts a week of something that you're passionate about. He suggests Facebook Lives, which don't have to be scary. We'll move into that too. I've done a lot. I don't even mind doing Facebook Lives. I just have to always remind myself of ideas for Facebook Lives. And then he's like 1 power post a week that is your transformation. And like Allie said, it's not just the physical. It's a physical transformation, your emotional transformation, your financial transformation. And even if you haven't made a lot of money yet or any, you might have a financial mindset transformation, okay? So you're gonna get a little bit deeper into what Isagenix can do for you beyond what we think of with weight, energy, all of those kinds of things, okay? So your homework, you've got to listen to that podcast. You're gonna have to write things down. It's gonna help you so much. In addition to that, as far as social media goes, I highly recommend you find someone that you identify with, a couple people that are very experienced and doing well in Isagenix that you could follow on Facebook, again, to get some of those ideas. If you guys want to put some of your favorite people to follow in the chat for some of the newer people, that would be great. I will put mine. And it kind of depends on your type of person. You'll figure out quick when you start following these people if they're your jam. Just because they're successful doesn't mean that they're your jam and that it's going to work for you. Because some people are super direct and some people are warm and fuzzy. Okay. So I'll put some of my favorites in the chat too. And then Allie, you can go on with the daily connections.
I was just putting somebody I really like. I like Kelly Baker.
I do too.
Okay. So daily connections. Well, I want you guys to understand when we talk about daily connections, we don't mean necessarily that you're, last week we talked about reaching out to some people and asking if they'd be open to taking a look. That's not what we mean when we say daily connections. At this point, you're just going to be more mindful of talking to people, just having a conversation. It may or may not lead to Isagenix, but it just gets you out there, building trust, building relationships. And when you're really listening, you might hear a place where you could offer a solution. And when that comes, you can say something as simple as, I might have something that can help you. Would you be open? And just like we taught last week. So, but just starting with simple, friendly conversations, making somebody's day. So 3 to 5 people a day you're going to start conversations with, and that can be on Facebook, that could be face-to-face, that could be sending a text to somebody that you haven't talked to for a while and just saying hello, building those relationships. And then what you're going to work towards, but I just want to reiterate, you don't want to try to force it or steer it. You want to work towards being able to offer somebody the opportunity to take a look at it 1 to 3 times a week, okay? But don't force it. That's what we're going for. So as long as you're doing those 3 to 5 connections, you're likely going to have that opportunity, okay? So let's see. The next thing then is just, so the action items for this week is that you're going to post on social media 1 to 2 times every day. If that feels overwhelming because you're not doing it, I just want to take you back to what we were saying before. It's not about Isagenix. It's just letting people into your life and being open into what your life looks like, okay? So if that means you usually only post once a week, shoot for once a day and build up from there, okay? And it's just, again, those this is who I am. These are my values, my top 5 areas of interest sort of thing. I'm sorry, I'm reading these notes. I've been so busy with my kids today. They all had their wisdom teeth
And of course, I'm like,
extracted.
well, you could do this or just say this.
I think that was all I wanted to say. And then I can come up with, well, you guys can continue to use, did you like that connection sheet that I used before? How did that sheet work for you? Or maybe you came up with, did anybody come up with something that they liked better to organize who they were talking to?
I think it works. They just maybe need to jot down somewhere like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, and just put, all they'd have to put is family, like whatever the topic was that you posted that day.
Okay, I can
as
make
far as
that.
accountability for like our drawing or action items.
Sure. Yep. I'll make a list and post it, and you guys, just like we asked for it yesterday, you can give it back.
Yeah.
We'll make a little post where you can share it next week. Does that make sense?
So when she says make connections, do you guys have any questions about that? I know that is kind of hard for people to wrap their brains around sometimes. Does anyone? So a connection is different than a direct ask, okay, like we worked on last time.
If that doesn't make sense to you, please don't hesitate to say, I don't get it. Because we really just want to help. There's no embarrassment in not understanding.
So when we make a connection, like I'm just going to use an example. So if I saw someone just got back from Disney World, or whatever they're posting about, right, on social media, I'll just be like, oh my gosh, looks like your trip was amazing. Did you absolutely love it? Starts a conversation, you know? And so then when you start, they could easily say, yeah, it was, but I wish, I was exhausted you could hear a need easily in any of the stuff, whether they're talking about tired, whether they're talking about the money, whatever, or it goes nowhere at that moment. You have no expectation. You're just making that connection. So then as you continue to share, you're building trust. Okay. And you can loop back around to your people.
Beth, did you have something you wanted to add back there?
Oops. Sorry. I didn't mean to shut my video off. I was going to say that, when you were talking about don't be ashamed of not understanding connection, and that I did for a very, very, very long time understood connection to be talking about Isagenix with somebody. And once I realized what we really were looking for in a connection, that I just didn't want to raise my hand and say, oh my gosh, that was me at the time. And I wish that I had very early on had said something about it and asked more defining parameters of what a contact meant. I was just backing that up. So if anybody feels like they don't know, that it's okay to ask. Don't wait, because that just
and you do need both connections and invitations to take a look. Because if you don't ever ask anyone to look, you don't have a business, right? So you do have to do both, but it doesn't have to be weird if you build the relationships and make the connections. Does that make sense? And you can still do those messages we created for some of those people that were the top on your list. I would go for that. You already have a great relationship with those people. Feel free to ask them, okay? But ongoing, you make connections. Tyler Walter was just saying that too. He tries to make 5 new connections a day, either online or in person, or a combination of both, and at least 2 to 3 people he's inviting them to an event. That's why it's always nice to have these monthly sip and samples, a Super Saturday. You could constantly have something you could be inviting people to, but of course we always have videos too. The last thing I was going to mention that I forgot earlier is what's helped me so much is taking a lot of pictures, because what you're going to struggle with is I don't have a picture for my thing that I want to post. So anytime I would catch my kids drinking the shake, I'd have an opportunity of me drinking the shake, or just a great picture opportunity of my kids playing or me with them, or just anything. You guys just be creative, or reading a book, or while you're reading your book, or anything like that. Take advantage of it. Even if you have no idea what you would ever do with that picture again, just take them so you kind of have a library of pictures to work with. You always want to try and have good lighting. If you feel like your picture doesn't have very good clarity, it doesn't look really good, and you need help with it, ask Allison or your sponsor or myself. We have all these filters and stuff that we can help make your pictures look nicer. but even if it's a picture of your workspace, I mean, just all kinds of things. Be creative and take the picture, even if you think, what the heck would I use this for? Just have them ready, okay? Because that'll help you a lot. Okay, that's all I have for tonight. Unless anyone has questions that I'll stay on if people have questions that they'd rather ask them, not in front of the whole group. Otherwise, we're looking forward to another great week and increasing your momentum.
Bye. Have a great week. Thanks, you guys.